Our championship edition of Breakfast from Roth. My name is Bob Babbitt. An amazing day yesterday at the 30th Annual Challenge Roth. And one of the gentlemen who really helped to make the day special, Mr. Rudy Garcia-Tolson. How you feeling today?
I'm doing great. We're here, live to fight another day, so we're all good.
57-minute swim.
Yep.
The big issue, you only had 6 weeks to train for this thing. And getting on the bike after not being on the bike since 2009, really. How did you feel the bike ride went for you? Because you went 8:25. That was faster than you went in Ironman Arizona.
Yeah, well, let's start out with the whole day recap for me. So for me, the swim, I swam 57, which was pretty decent. I think my best swim is maybe a 54 or 53. So, we'll take it. The water is warm, and the crowds were amazing. The start was amazing. And so we got out of the water and didn't have too much trouble in transition. We had a really, really fast transition. One of the things in Arizona was we had to kind of stop and take a few minutes to get warm. Or here, we didn't have that problem. So we got on the bike right away. I think we got on the bike within 5 minutes, which is what we wanted.
Well, because you have to go, what people don't quite understand is you're swimming without legs.
Yep.
Then you're putting on your running legs to run through the 10th.
Right.
And then you're going to your bike and
so
putting on your
I
cycling.
gotta take off my wetsuit before I put my legs on, and then go in there and change all up, switch legs, and get my biking gear on. So got on the bike, and it was amazing. It was one of the best bike rides I've ever had.
And that's a tough bike ride.
It was challenging. It wasn't the toughest. I mean, obviously Kona is right up there for me.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing day. I mean, the first loop I was feeling great. The crowds. I mean,
Solar Hill.
Just amazing. I mean, I have nothing but great things to say about this race. And I mean, the people all over who supported this race. I mean, just amazing.
Crazy.
Just amazing. So. A few challenging things that I kind of came across was refueling on the uphills. Most of the aid stations were on the uphills,
right? Which
for me, I'm in my lowest gear and I'm just spinning one pedal stroke at a time.
And you can't stand.
I can't stand. So whenever I came up to a water station, I was kind of juggling, keeping my balance, keeping my cadence going, and then grabbing water and watching other people. So it's quite challenging, but we got through it. And fluid wise and nutrition wise, I felt I was great. I took a piss like 4 times, so you're doing good.
You're hydrated, yeah.
So the second loop came around, and still feeling really good. I'd say right about mile 90, 80 is when I started to really feel the lower back. But being able to get into aero position for some of the flats and the downhills really saved me.
Yeah.
Another thing that really helped a lot was putting the small crank arms on my bike and small gear in the front for the uphills and kind of the flats as well.
So you could spin more.
So I can spin more. I get my cadence up, which mentally it's just a big thing. And then of course the downhills, I put it in the big gear and try to get as much out of it as possible. But all in all, I felt pretty decent getting off the bike. It was cutting it close, but we got off of it. But
you made that cutoff time.
As soon as I got off of it, my lower back was pretty tight. So
and for folks who don't quite understand, when you're riding the bike, it's not like you're sitting stationary in that saddle. You have to, because you don't have quads and hamstrings, you have to use your glutes and you have to use your hips and you have to basically sway side to side and use your core.
I'm using my whole body. It's not, cyclists, they have this thing where they relax your upper body,
keep
relax
your body
it,
quiet.
just move your arms. Well, just move your legs. I mean, that's just not realistic. For me, I'm pulling, I'm pushing, I'm using my whole body, and so it's a good workout. We had 6-7 weeks, and like Muddy said, we had to turn crap into ice cream. Well,
yes.
I think we got the ice cream. It just melted before the finish line. So,
that is a great line.
With that being said, I'm a competitor, so of course I'm a little bit bummed that I didn't get a chance to come across that stadium and really show the people in Germany that it can be done, which I've already proved it in Arizona, and so when I got out on the run, I just couldn't get no hops. The lower back was just seized up, and so I ran, out of transition, you feeling good.
You ran. I ran like sub 9 minute pace.
Yeah, the first 2 miles, and then after that, I had to walk, and ended up walking for the next 2.5, 3 hours, and it comes a point where you got to get realistic, and realistically, I could have finished it, but I probably wouldn't have been able to walk out of Germany. So, with that being said, it's 2014. I plan my years. My life goes in cycles of every 4 years, going into the Paralympics. Yep. So this is kind of a down year, and I got to take some chances. You gotta go out there and risk it all, because going into this, I knew it was gonna be a challenge. But
you like that?
That's what I love, and. Yeah, I didn't finish this one, but it's just going to be that much sweeter when I do.
Back in the day, you talked about how your goal was to, beat the kids with legs. And back then, that didn't happen very often early on. But eventually it did happen.
Right.
And that changed your perception of you.
Right.
So then it's like, okay, I don't want to beat one kid with legs. I want to beat all the kids with legs.
Right.
So for you, when you're doing things like this, do you get a sense of how many people are motivated by it? Did you get a lot of good vibes from the people on the course?
A word that I got a lot from the German people was respect. They just came by, I said respect, respect. I got that maybe 1,000 times throughout the whole course. And I gotta say, all those competitors who were passing me on the bike, every single one of them was giving me a high five and a thumbs up, and very, very motivating. So, I got to thank all the people, all the competitors who were out there. But for me, this is, we're paving the way. We're figuring out what works and what doesn't. Like I said, I'm the first person to do this, but I'm not going to be the last. There's going to be another generation who's going to come behind me and, going to go sub 10 hours in the Ironman, I believe, with no legs. And so now I'm figuring out what works and what doesn't. And so now I'll be able to pass my knowledge along to those guys, and so it's all good.
When I look at technology and how much it's changed and how much you've been a part of that, like at the beginning you were told that no double above knee amputee could run, you'd be on crutches, you'd have a cane, you'd have a walker, a wheelchair. When I look at the equipment in the metamorphosis of running legs, right, and how great they are now.
Right.
Cycling legs, I don't think have had that same metamorphosis. I think
they're not there yet.
They're not there yet. There needs to be something, especially for the double abovs, where you're actually able to get some return.
A little bit of energy return. The way I describe to people is when I run, I have some C-sprints, and they're carbon fiber, and they give me 40-50% return energy-wise, and so I'm able to maintain
doesn't replace a leg.
It doesn't replace it. You can't replace a human ankle, but you can get some return out of it. Especially as a double above knee, you get as double the amount of pounding on my hips and on my stumps, and of course the lower back. So it's just a whole different beast running as a double amputee. But like you said, the technology is not there on the bike yet. So I think I'd love to try to develop the next biking leg for the next double above the amputee, and not something that's gonna motor us through and finish the bike in 3 hours, but something to give 10, 15, 20% return. Just energy-wise would work well, and be able to have enough energy to get off the bike and finish that 26.2. So
when you look at challenges you've taken, like, okay, I'm going to try to make the Paralympic team at the age of 16. Mm-hmm. I'm going to try to win a Paralympic gold at the age of 16. I'm going to, when you're younger, I'm going to try to do a Olympic distance triathlon, a sprint triathlon. Every one of those goals you've set and you've reached, and has led to other people doing the same thing who are, similar to you, or missing one leg or two legs or in a wheelchair. So is there a certain part to this? This is in between the Paralympic cycle. So this is a year, like you said, to take a flyers. A part of you is like, hey, I need to take a big risk. I need to do something that's really outside the box, just because I got to find out if I could do it. And if I can't do it right now, what it's going to take to do it, so that the next kid can get there.
Exactly. Well, like I said, we had 6 weeks to get prepared, and that's not my excuse. I don't want people to think that they didn't finish because they didn't have enough training time. Athletes, we have good days and bad days, and that's the risk that I take in this sport, and I choose to take that risk, and it's just part of the game. You win some, you lose some. Sometimes the course wins, and but at the end of the day, I don't think I definitely feel like, it would have been nice to come across that finish line, but, live to fight another day. So we're going to get back at it, and we'll have to see what the future holds. Moving forward, I got to sit down and really think about what I want to do for the next 2 or 3 years. Obviously, Rio is definitely on the plan, but really got to see if I really want to go through the training and get to where I need to be to finish Kona within a decent time. So
what's interesting is you're sort of between a rock and a hard place, because if you decide the Olympics is it, that means you're talking about a sprint triathlon, which is a half-a-mile swim, a 12-mile bike, 3-mile run, 5K run, and then the long jump where you've gone 20 feet, and then swimming, and
so all that Paralympic stuff is all speed work.
It's all speed work.
Right. No endurance in there. Maybe a little bit on the bike, but I mean, just 12 miles, so it's nothing. So
totally different muscle set, total different mindset.
I mean, I think if I could, if I'm still mentally good, and I can continue training into Kona, I think I'll be at the best shape of my life, which would be a plus going into Rio. So. You know, we'll have to see.
So you're thinking maybe, obviously not this October, but like a following October, trying to get potentially to Kona.
Definitely not this one. That's out of the question. I need a whole solid year on the bike of training, going through 2 or 3 month cycles, and that's just what it's going to take to get through Kona. And when I go back to Kona, I'm not gonna you're
not there to finish.
I'm not gonna fake it. We're gonna do it right, and we're not gonna just stare at the finish and suffer the last 3 hours. We're gonna get through it, and we're gonna really change perceptions. I think what we're doing now is changing perceptions, but I think when people see me cross the line at Kona and in an amazing time, I think it's I could do a lot more.
When you say amazing time, what are you thinking?
I think 8.5 hours on the bike, an hour run, an hour swim, excuse me, and 3.5, 4 hour run. So
3.5, 4 hour run.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
So you're talking like 13 hours or something.
13, 14 hours. I think I think it's possible. It's possible. So
nice.
It's gonna take a hard work though.
So there's obviously a lot of Twitter excitement and a lot of Facebook, and people were tracking you, and your GPS went out for a while. So everybody's like, "Oh my God, he's been sitting on the bike for 40 minutes. We had no idea where you were." But for you, like you said, the challenge of this, it's an eating and drinking contest. Yeah. You felt like you had that nailed?
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, Ironman, you're not going to make it through if you're not on your nutrition, and that's the bottom line. And it's taken me. This is my third Ironman, and it's taken me the third one to really start to really understand the sport. And that's the beautiful thing about Ironman, is that you can always improve and always work on something, because there's always something that needs to be worked on. So that's why I love it. That's why I keep coming back.
So you've raced in Kona, you raced in Arizona, and now you've raced here. First European experience as a triathlete.
Amazing, just amazing. I mean, it's. I'm going to tell all my friends who are triathletes to come out and do Roth, because the experience you get is like none other, and it's one of it's the best in the world, I think. So
it's pretty special. It's
amazing.
So what's next?
What's next? I'm going to probably go get some good food, maybe a big old pizza and some hot Cheetos, and enjoy my last day in Germany, and then go home. And I'm not too sure. We're going to try to probably get back on the bike, and I would like to maintain my what I have on the bike, because I work so hard to get where I am on the bike, and I just don't want to throw it away. No, I don't want to throw it away.
Do you feel that bike fitness will help you with track and field and the other things you're doing, or is it totally different?
I think it's. I mean, the bike fitness is. I think it's everything. I mean, if you could get off that bike in a decent time and still feel good, then you'll be able to do the run. So the bike for me is. I mean, if I can motor on the bike, I'm overall going to be in great shape.
I remember back in the day when people would be cheering for you because you finished, right? Hey, hey, you did great, Rudy. I'm like, dude, I finished last. Okay, don't be clapping for me. I know something like this where we look at the small victories and go, hey, listen, you went off with the first pack. Those were all sub-9 hour people. People trying to go sub-9 hour, and you're right there, 57 minutes. You swam, and you were in front of a lot of those guys. You went faster than you've ever gone on the bike on a really hard course. There's some climbs with 10% grade.
Well, I'm glad I with the help of my coach Muddy Waters, we made a few adjustments in the morning. Which one of them, the big one, was we switched from aero helmet to a normal helmet, which
you'd be still
I think saved me. I think it saved me because I was on some of those hills I was pouring water out and just sweat coming out. So having that helmet with all the holes and being able to pour water on, I mean, it's just night and day. So just small changes like that, and having someone on your side, on your team who really cares about you and wants the best for you, it's an amazing thing.
Because the hard part is when you've walked an iron distance marathon course and you've been out there, you've done that twice, you get to a certain point. I've been there with Jürgen Zach and Paulie Crew, top guys, and Chris McCormick, who've walked it once. Once you've done that, okay, you've shown your respect for the distance,
you
your
gotta have
respect for the
respect.
course. Exactly. Got to have respect. But also, you got to live to race another day, and you don't want to torque your back to the point where
we don't want to risk permanent damage. So with that being said, like you said, we're here and we're gonna push on, and you know, sometimes good days and bad days, and that's what it comes down to. So
and most of the day was good.
It was an awesome day.
It was an awesome day. You got to 15K of the run,
yeah.
And so you just left yourself a little. You got little stuff for next time.
That's it. So,
but you'd come back and do this race again,
without a doubt.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Rudy Garcia-Tolson has been our guest. 8:25 on a bike, 57-minute swim, 15K of the run. He will be back. Yeah, go ahead.
I also gotta say that we saw Felix out there too. Felix was looking good. He gave me a nice high five on the run. So
I love that.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to Felix. Again, we are brought to you by Nitro and Flapjacked. My name is Bob Babbitt. Rainer right here swam an hour and 30 minutes yesterday. You are watching Breakfast from Roth. Hold on, everyone. We'll be right back.